Okay, guys, this is part 2. We're making our Palazzo PJ pants. We've accidentally made a skirt, which is great. All right, this isn't a great angle, but we're going to try to do it. First, let me show you this. What I want you to do next, go to that back seam that we sewed. Do you see that back seam right there? Right here where my thumb is, okay, the back seam. Turn it around and you're going to make sure your sides are even and you're going to pin the front right where the back seam is. You see that? And now you're going to put another pin where they meet. Not together. We're just pinning so we make sure they're lined up the whole time we do the next part of cutting. Okay? So you should have 2 pins, not pinned together, just 2 pins. Okay? So we're going to start in the back where that seam is. And if you remember, we left a little bit here of a slit, which is great that we did that because now we can see where we need to start. First thing we need to do, we need to measure. You need to measure your girth. And I'm not going to like specifically, I'm just saying from your waist down to between your legs. Okay. So you can do that. I'm sure you're very smart and you know how to do that. I don't have to demo that. Measure and see how far you want the crotch to come down. Me, I don't even need to measure because I rarely wear pants that fit me like that. I always wear super baggy. All right, the part of this is we're going to be cutting into the seam, the very seam we sewed, but we're only going to go to a certain point. And that is the point of how much you measure from the waist down. So I'm going to measure mine from the waist down and I can get an idea of where I want to go because I want mine super long, even though I'm short. So I'm going to go about 14 inches. Yeah, I think I'm going to go about 14 inches from the waistband down. That should give me, I'm looking at it. Let's see, that would put me right here. So they're not too baggy. I might go a full 15. Nah, let's do 14 and a half. Let's do it safe. All right, let me get my chalk. Where did it go? I'm going to put a pin. In fact, let's just get a pin. All right, we're going to go about right here for the crotch, for me, for lack of a better word. I keep trying to say girth, but all right. You want to make sure you go through, starting down here where you cut, stretch them out, okay? Cut straight up. Actually, cut you a triangle at the bottom because we had left that triangle, so we're going to have to cut that triangle out before we go straight up. Now we can go straight up. So that'll make sure it's angled. Okay, see what I've got there? We've split it in half, okay? Now we're just going to cut straight up through both pieces. It might be a good idea to go ahead and pin the pants legs together here. One pin here, one pin on the other side. That way you make sure that the bottoms are lined up. Okay, and let's start cutting where we just sewed the seam. And we're going to stop. Because see, when we go back in and sew, we're going to make sure that it's put together right. So just cut it. It's going to be pretty thick because we made a seam. Boy, hope this comes out all right. Leave you a little space between there, okay? I can go a little higher. It's about right. I want plenty of room in that girth area here. And, you know, just kind of repin where it's going to be, where the crotch is going to be. I just don't know any better way to say it. Okay, we can now freely let the legs loose. Take the pins out because we're going to need to clean up the sides of this a bit because we're going to sew it together inside out. Okay, see how that looks there? Yep. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I suggest what we do is we sew, go ahead and sew the seam first here. Yeah, I think we should go ahead and fold this over and we're going to go ahead and sew this seam because this side doesn't have a seam, remember? So we'll go ahead and sew a seam right here. Let's pin that. And then over here where I've got this mess, what did I do here? Let's just take that off. Okay. Over here, we're going to fold it in as well. So you shouldn't see any of the previous seam. Okay. So we're going to pin these two sides together. What's the matter? I hear my dog. Okay, and they're going to go all the way up, pin them all the way up to where you cut to where your crotch ends, like so. Sew that together. We're going to sew one leg at a time. I think that's the way we should do it. I'm looking at my dog. Leaving the crotch just like that. We also, want to leave our slit in the pants. Yeah. Okay. Let's do the other leg. Roll it inward. Pin your seam of 1 inch. It's a 1 inch seam. Approximate 1 inch. All the way up to the crotch. Fold this bit over too and place them together and pin them again. That's how we're going to stay organized until we get to the machine as far as this. Now we're not going to sew, this is part 2 of the video. We're not going to sew them yet. That's going to be part 3. I'm just showing you how to pin them and cut them. And you see how messy this is right here? We need to get rid of that. But that's all going to be hidden because we're going inward. We want to make sure the slits are about the same length, which looks to be, that looks about right. Let's go ahead and pin this because I can't tell much until I pin this side. So it looks to be correct. And I don't think we're going to, if we do it this way, we don't have to do a seam on the other side first. I think we could just sew it together like this. That's my plan. Anytime I can cut corners without it making a mess up, that's what I do. But I'm not saying they're going to be perfect. Now, what I'm concerned about is this area up here. We need to bring that in and pin it together all the way up. So let's do that. And then where I pinned underneath, I'm going to take those out and I'm just going to go ahead and pin it together. I do not think we're going to need, except right here, we are going to need to make a seam there because we're leaving a slit. A little slit in the pants. So I'm going to go ahead and pin that good. And we'll go down both sides. That way, we'll have us a good little slit. One side's probably going to come out a little thicker. That's okay. Nobody's going to be looking, going, oh, that side of your pants is thicker than the other. Well, I don't think they're going to do that. This is the part I'm concerned about, how I'm going to sew this crotch together. I'm really concerned about that, guys. If we get a little hole down there, we may have to figure that out. Yeah, I think it'll be fine. I left my slits. I'm good to go. So now what you should have is this, okay? I left mine, mind you, very long. I'm not that long in the girth. I'm just making big baggy pants that almost look like a skirt. If you want to make them more fitted, measure there. I'm going to bring you over here so I can see you better and you can see me better. If you want them to be more fitted through the girth, but as you can see, I mean, my crotch in these pants are way down here. That's just the way I like to wear mine. You don't have to do that, but so right now what we have is this, okay? And there's going to be slits. I just realized the slits are on the inside of the leg, so we need to make slits on the outside of the leg. You see, it's trial and error. Okay, so we have slits on the inside, which is fine, but we're going to need slits on the outside. That's not going to look right. So let's come back over to our table. Pull the leg out. We're going to cut up the other side. I don't know. Do you think we should do that? Or should we just leave it be and just sew them all the way up? Because we could just literally sew them all the way up. I tell you what, we'll just sew them all the way up. We're not going to leave a slit. I like the slits, but they're wide enough legged, so really I don't need a slit. So let's just go ahead and pin it all together. So now you're going to pin all the way down. And we're just going to sew all the way down. Okay? Because I don't want the slits on the inside. I want them on the outside. So if we can't have them on the outside, by golly, we're just going to sew it up. So pin it all together. Make sure it's even. And what you should be left with, I'm going to show you. They should be all the way sewn. So, see, this I'm concerned about. This is not currently right. And I'm sewing mine, stitching mine on the outside, but you really should turn them inside out and do them. I'm stitching mine on the outside because I'm going to be, I may not. I don't know. I'm going to wing it when we get there. But that's going to be part 3. But what we have now is pinned everywhere. Okay. That's my legs of the pants. We'll see if it works. They're little culottes. They're really cute. They come about mid-calf. So if I can put the camera down, if it'll cooperate, I'm going to show you. Compared to the pants I have on, which are about ankle length. So these are going to be about the same, if you can see. So, because they're going to sit about right here. Yeah. So let's go sew these together and see what happens, guys. I'll be back for part 3. All right. See you in a minute. Bye.